That's a Shame is brought to you by the people who support us over at patreon.com/shamecity.
If you have $1,
$2.
$1 to spare, join us again at patreon.com/shamecity. Please.
Look for the bare necessities, the simple bare necessities.
Oh God, we're back for more. How was that?
Well, what's the ranking scale like? What am I marking you on?
Out of 10.
Yeah, but on what?
Just intro quality.
Oh,
Dear God, up there in heaven, we're back for episode 168. I'm Isaac. Who are you?
I'm giving you a best of 4.
I'm not doing any more of those. Do you mean you give me 4 out of 10?
Yeah.
That's not what best of 4 means. You're
No,
confused.
I said I'm giving you.
I thought you said a best of 4.
I'm giving you a best of 4.
Stop all this nonsense. What are you?
I'm Declan.
And how are you doing?
I'm doing all right.
And
I was
what-
doing better before
what
you
is
did
this?
that intro.
What
What now?
Right now.
A shambles.
Yeah.
That's a shame. The podcast.
That's a shambles, we could call it one day.
Oh, no.
That could be a spin-off that you work on privately at your new
Okay, well,
Twitter persona.
I won't be doing that.
Just a quick bit of housekeeping. Beep, 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 beep. Declan's been threatening people online. He's been threatening them
haven't
left, right, and
threatened
centre.
anyone.
He threatened them so hard that Tweedo.com, they had to ban him.
I didn't do a threat to anyone.
He death threated people, didn't you? Be
I've
honest.
been silenced.
Your free
I've been
speech.
censored.
Have you joined Toby Young's free
I'm
speech brigade?
signing up only $25.99 a month for free speech.
It's not a scam. It's not a scam.
It is important
If
to
you
know.
were in that union, you'd have not. You could have done all the threatening you want. Your speech would still be free.
I'd have had an army of loyal fellow union members.
But as it happened, you have at DE Delane is no more. It's at DE Degone. Let me write that one down.
You better work on it. Yeah, just to work on. But you put a C, but whatever you like. Yeah, so I'm at Declan again.
Yeah.
Now.
At Declan again now. That's a long handle.
I'm at Declan again.
So, you had at Declan before and now you have it once more.
No.
Can you see the problems from a branding perspective with this poor choice of username?
So what would you like me to do? At DE Delane again?
No, I think the word again is what's the problem, not what precedes it.
Okay, so what would you suggest?
At Declan again, end of name. And then
At Declan again, end of name. I don't know if that fits in the 15 character
it's
limit.
worth trying out. I haven't counted, but it seems like...
No, I haven't.
Yeah.
So.
Obviously, all of your followers out there, I know you have tried to kind of spin off a personal brand out of my That's a Shame enterprise. They'll want to just switch over their following to at Declan again.
Yeah.
DECLAN and then the word again. Now, does the capitalization matter at all to you?
Well, I prefer capital D, capital A for again.
Okay, keep that in mind when you're messaging him on Twitter.
But I'm not going to silence anyone who doesn't.
That's really
conform
good.
To that.
What was interesting as well to me was that you got this new account at Declan again, then you went back to threatening people straight away, and you're suspended already.
Couldn't stay away.
Now, why was that?
A fun joke that I did with someone who understood it.
Yeah, have you checked?
Well, they gave it a like.
Okay.
And they,
some people love to be
responded.
threatened.
And they responded, and there's someone that I've, followed, they were mutual. But Twitter.com themselves didn't seem to understand that.
They didn't get in on the joke.
They got rid of you. It's interesting. I've not seen the same from any of the people who are just using slurs left, right, and centre.
No, me neither.
I haven't seen that from them, but because I'm still seeing all their tweets.
Maybe it's an alphabetical order, so they're on the D's at the moment, and they're getting through all of those, and then when there's E's and F's...
Right. Famously, nobody from A to D is racist.
Yeah. And maybe they were doing all the threatening first, and then it's the racial and homophobic and transphobic abuse. That's coming later. Maybe.
That'll be later. Possibly.
Any day now.
Well, now that it's been brought up by a Republican, I think...
We can only expect their policy, their internal procedures to be expedited. Now, look...
You've done something unusual, haven't you?
No, not unusual, because if you remember, I prepared some great content last show as well.
Yeah,
so
but that's what
it's
I'm
a real
saying.
streak.
What I'm saying is it's unusual for you to do it twice in a row. Yeah,
it is unusual.
For you to do it more than once a month is
more than once a year, to be honest. I like to just spread them out so that people appreciate it. But what I've prepared today is is something of a throwback, something of a casting our mind back into the kind of annals of TAS back in the early days. You remember the early
feeling
days?
I know what this is going to be now.
Yeah,
I've
okay.
pieced it together.
Piece it together. What are your clues? Talk us through the
you
Cooperian
said that
process.
you were talking to a friend of the show, Kangaroo, and you were talking about Clacton.
Yes.
And this was the place of residence for one of That's a Shame's most famous content machines, which was Mr. John Darkin.
It's not John. I'm
Is it
so
not
sorry to
John?
disappoint, because that
I am
would
disappointed.
have been better than what I have today.
Would it?
But
Oh,
unfortunately,
okay.
John
'Cause
is dead. He was in fact the first and third corona victims in the UK. No one. Science doesn't have an answer for how John died twice, but he found a way.
He did it.
Yeah.
And he didn't just forget all of his passwords. He did. It's confirmed he did die, come back, and then die again.
That's what Scripture foretold. Whether or not that has come to pass remains to be seen. I guess it's at this point it's a question of faith. Do you believe?
Oh no. Not at
Oh,
all.
okay.
I think he just forgot all his passwords.
He's probably dealing with that
I
wildlife.
think he's too furious.
What's the amazing quote where it's like, is there anything else to say no? Or something like that?
What can I say? No.
God, he's so right, isn't he? No, this was inspired by the same discussion that you mentioned with friend of the show, Kangaroo, who we were chatting up in shame.city/Discord. Shame.city/Discord is a hell of a Discord. You just got unbanned from it.
Yeah, and
for threatening people. He won't.
I was unbanned
stop.
for threatening people.
Yeah, that's the only way. to get in.
And you'll get notifications if you're there.
Yeah.
To head over to shame.city/Twitch.
Where
Because
we've
of our
been
very good
We've been
content.
twitching it up a storm. Look at me go.
It's fidgeting like a good one. Fun story. We streamed the entirety of a game called Spooky's Jump Scare Mansion.
Yeah.
The original.
Which is available on YouTube as well.
Yeah, and it's very good. You sort of like have to wander through 1,000 rooms / corridors, and there's various things that jump out.
Yeah.
One of the first bosses.
Yeah.
How would you describe them?
Which one are you thinking of?
I'm thinking of the most benign possible monster in the whole game.
Just the like coffee cup and things like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's just a sort of cardboard cutout of a cup of a milky tree.
They sort of like ping out the wall and they go,
Bleh,
so I was
bleh, like that.
there. I was lying in bed last night with my girlfriend.
Oh yeah.
And all of a sudden, we heard an absolute horrid scream go up from somewhere outside. And my girlfriend turned to me really sadly and was like, "Oh no, that was a dog. Oh no, what's happened?"
That's such a good certainty to have.
What's like?
That
And,
was a
and,
dog.
and indeed, I was like, "Well, it does sound like it was, but I'll assume it's okay, or else would have heard more from it." And no sooner did I say this than I got a message from Isaac saying, "Did you just hear my girlfriend scream?" We were playing Spooky's
She was on
Jumpscare
room
Mansion.
9 of 1,000. She eventually made it to like 150 and then got killed by Mother. So that happened. And if you get killed by Mother, which we didn't, I don't think.
Now, is this you go into its womb?
Yes, it is.
That's
so did we
something-
get killed by Mother?
No, we didn't. Anne Louise said something about being in
You
somebody's
get
womb.
sucked into Mother's womb.
And do you see that?
In graphic detail.
Because I was thinking that she'd maybe embellished on something because we hadn't encountered
And she's
that.
a liar as well, of course, fundamentally.
Famous liar and dog screamer.
Liar and dog screamer out. Yes. Now, the Discord is great. Shame.city/Discord.
And
The
you were
Twitch
chatting
is
there.
powerful. Shame.city/Twitch. We do like 5 nights a week sometimes. Not tonight, apparently.
No.
Well, I might do something later if I feel up to it. But all of this is a prelude to an idea that was sparked, which was we were talking about basically the theme of depressing places. We were comparing what are depressing places like in the UK, very bad, with what are depressing places like in America, also very bad, but in different ways, idiosyncratic. And it just came into my head. I thought, wonder how the Shark Hotel's doing.
Oh no!
And for those who don't know, for those who weren't there for the early days of TAS, well, first of all, you're traitors, and it might be a good time to stop listening permanently. Alternatively, recommit in a big way over at patreon.com/shamecity, then go back and listen from the start. There's some, not quality, but some content there.
It's interesting that you were thinking about the Shark Hotel because I was listening just the other day to our second Thorpe Park episode, and which we mention walking past that great bastion of
hotellery.
I was going to say of architecture.
That too, yeah. Of culture more broadly.
Yeah.
Some would argue.
Now, I don't want to step on your toes here. I was going to just sort of run through things I remember of
Please
the
give a
Shark
précis
Hotel.
for those who are not aware. First of all, like, where is it? What's it adjacent to? Why are people going?
Now, the Shark Hotel is just off of the main island
Yeah.
that comprises Thorpe Park,
Yeah.
which is the theme park / resort.
No.
Technically,
Yeah, in the most pedantic of senses. Yeah.
that's right next to the Chertsey Museum, which I'm sure you'll all know. Now, it is. They're burying the lead somewhat by calling it both Shark and Hotel.
But wait, one thing to point out is, like in some countries there are lots of theme parks, and theme park can mean like anything from Disney World to like some tiny little, like a fairground thing.
This lies somewhere in the middle.
Well,
somewhere depressingly.
It does lie in the middle on the grand scale, but in the UK, it is it's vying for the top spot.
Yeah, it's like top
1 or 2.
Yeah,
it's like depending on what ride you like.
That's grim in it. Yeah.
Yeah, so this is like as good as it gets for our disgusting island that we call Britain.
Yeah,
pretty much.
So the theme of the park is dilapidation.
Yeah, and they express that through all manner of. It's the attention to detail. It puts the Imagineers to shame.
It really does.
They've put rust in places I didn't even know could get rusted.
And and many would say, "Oh, that's probably just lack of funding and/or care."
Yeah,
but
we know better.
You've got to see it to believe it.
And it's not even just architecturally and engineeringly and structurally. They've hired kind of actors to populate the park in plain clothes. And they consist of some of the ugliest people you ever likely to see.
Some of the most dilapidated faces.
Yeah, it's really clever the way they marry the live action performance with just the space itself, including, you remember last time we were there, they hired someone to pass out on one of the more horrible rides. Samurai, is it, that one?
Oh, yeah, that is awful.
He was just passed out for the entire ride, his body sort of flopping limply around, while teenage staff members just sort of gazed on like he was a kind of fish that had dared to dream too big out of the pond and was flapping its way Icarus-like to the heavens.
And it's not just goers, it's not just visitors to the park that they've hired to be in with the theme of horrific. When they actually hire actors to perform in their spook mazes, they're not just getting any old underpaid, desperate for something to pop on the old spotlight page actors. They're getting people literally foaming at the mouth to be
and not
there.
just their mouth, foaming in,
spitting into guests left, right, and centre. And so there's really a kind of sordid, horrific, almost unlovable vibe to the whole place, and that's what keeps us coming back.
Well, we haven't been since you got spat in. Now, that was over a year ago.
And I won't be until I am in receipt of reparations.
Don't hold your breath.
Now, the Shark Hotel
Some have called it the crowning jewel in the Thorpe Park tiara.
Now, it is shipping containers.
There's no way around that.
It is made of...
Yep.
Shipping containers that have
been
been
like in a
stacked,
kind of stylist.
No, in a literalist way. They've been stacked and rowed, painted, potentially blue.
Probably not painted. They probably just were
sprayed. The odd fin stuck on the side
to give it the shark
vibe,
element.
so that it's both shark and, of course, hotel.
Why does Thorpe Park think that it's to do with sharks and stuff?
Well, it doesn't. It thinks it's an island,
but
and that's
isn't.
a kind of no. It's not.
It's not.
No, it's not. But they think that it is. In fact,
and
they
think
it's
that's fun.
No, they think it's many islands.
Yeah.
They think it's many islands.
It's a fucking
despite not even counting as one island.
Absolute charlatans.
And of course, around islands, there are sharks.
I guess that's
always
what happens. True.
Yeah,
I've been to.
There are no
examples
counter to it. Now, here are some things I remember about the Shark Hotel.
Yeah.
Free Wi-Fi.
Yeah, now that's going to come up. Just hold on to that one.
I'm excited. There was unlimited tea and coffee. Well, unlimited hot drinks.
Also contentious.
Now, the main thing that I remember, of course, is that staying a night at the Shark Hotel...
You don't just get all of those luxury amenities.
It not only got you into the park the next day, but it got you a fast-track pass for an hour.
Yeah, ish. An hour-ish.
It got you
give or take
fast-track for the first ride you went on while there was already nobody there.
Yeah. And that some say money can't buy that kind of happiness, but to them I say...
And it can't, because
try the
nobody's
Shark
ever
Hotel.
stayed. Now, I seem to remember it cost the low price of something like £275 a night.
Again, something we'll be discussing.
Okay.
Because what the vector for my interest this time was not just what there is, because we've been there. We haven't stayed there, although I feel that may have to change soon. But we have been past it. It doesn't take long to walk past it. It's the exact
Blink
width of one shipping container. But what was lacking from my understanding of TSH...
There's no way that we could stay.
We have to.
There's no. I mean, I'm fully committed to going and staying, but we would die from laughing.
Yeah.
Simply from being
yeah.
But here's some things I want to know. Maybe you're going to cover them.
I may have some answers.
But where'd you pick up your key for the Shark Hotel, and from whom?
Yeah.
Who's manning? Who's the night porter of the Shark Hotel?
The all hands on deck crew.
Because I have night porter on my CV, but it's of somewhere called the Chichester Hotel. It sounds almost
regal,
nice.
Yeah.
You cannot put on your CV that you worked somewhere called the Shark Hotel. What, is there turn down service?
Oh, well, we'll find out. Strap in. Because I've been on TripAdvisor.
Surely be to God, surely be to God. Mm-hmm. These things I'm thinking of, they're from when we visited in 2018.
Yeah.
And
the year before.
Well, but I'm thinking specifically of things from the second time we went. We had a little look. We just checked it out just in case.
And we weren't there with we weren't hoping to be disappointed by the aesthetics and the presentation of the hotel.
But what I'm thinking is, times have moved on.
Yeah.
The Shark Hotel, I'm so excited to hear what it's done to evolve with
the because the
to
free
keep up
market.
with the market. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's the best, most efficient way for distributing resources.
There must be a ton of Airbnbs around Thorpe Park, and that alone will have pushed them to innovate, to invent, and to just really iterate on the experience in a big way. Let's see how that's been going. I've not even put in that much work in going through these reviews, because they are so singing from the same hymn sheet in their appraisal of TSH.
Mm-hmm. And what sort of average rating are we talking here? 5?
That's something I want to come back to, because weirdly, the rating overall is not as bad as you'd think. And one thing I want you to keep in your mind as I read some of these reviews and just pull quotes from them at random and sort of develop some of the themes that I've encountered through my study of the Shark Hotel to become the kind of leading expert that I am. One of the things I want you to consider is how, in God's name, can it be possible simultaneously for all of these complaints from the 300 plus below 2-star reviews on TripAdvisor, how can all of those be true and sort of internally corroborating? They're all pointing out the same things. And also, some people are out there rating it 5 stars. What is going on?
Well, they're paid to do so.
I think that's a mystery that we're going to have to investigate.
They're paid to do so.
It can't just be
they're
that,
paid
because
to do
I've
so.
seen their budget and it ain't huge.
Okay, well then it's just the members of staff themselves. That's what the night porter has to do. They have to be there for everyone and also spend the whole night writing good reviews. Like how when we stayed in Bloxwich, everyone who'd stayed had left a comment saying how great it was.
Suspicious.
It's just weird that was the last thing any of them ever posted on the internet.
Victoria wrote in November 2019, shortly after we didn't go. We would have been going around that time. So it's perhaps a bullet dodged. 1 star. These are all 1 star. Avoid. Really disappointed with our stay. Now we're going to develop a kind of new feature of the Shark Hotel in our canon, which is the before entry. You mentioned picking up the key. I want to take you a step further back. You have to queue through a long security queue 2 or 3 times if staying at the hotel. And you have to return to your car later to get your overnight bag. There's no alternative line for hotel guests. You have to have your overnight bag searched, not very discreetly. So before you even are allowed in...
Oh, I see. They mean literally the front gate of the hotel.
Yeah. Every single thing you want to bring to this hotel has to be searched in the road, in the street, just out in public. And I can't remember if I clicked this review, but later on someone talks about a security guard whose job that was, sort of publicly shaming a gay couple for the contents of their bags, just in the street.
TBH, if you're going to the Shark Hotel to do sex stuff, you deserve to be publicly shamed.
There's no alternative line. The room is fine, but the air conditioning does not work effectively in the container, which is synonymous with the room, for that is what the room is. It was either too hot / too cold, and everything was soaking by morning. Breakfast was awful.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Everything was soaking by morning.
This is a common theme. If you have the air conditioning on and it's hot outside, the condensation means that you wake up wet. You wake up and there's another kind of island element. Not a film.
Yeah.
People have talked about having to like get free clothes from Thorpe Park because their suitcase was so wet that it was unwearable.
What's happening?
How damp is it?
Well, yeah, how
it's
damp
because
is it
they're
in the
trying to
first
cram
place?
4 adults sometimes into a one container, which, as we'll discover,
human
has
trafficking.
no windows. They have not carved windows. You have a porthole in the door that looks out into the corridor. Park all this because the next sentence really introduces a new element. Fruit flies came out of the nozzle of the fruit machine. Now, a couple of things here. What is the fruit machine?
What is a fruit machine? Now,
and why does it have a nozzle?
Are they talking about a machine for fruit, or are they talking
It's
about like a one-armed bandit?
It's a machine for fruit flies, is what I'm taking
Oh,
from it.
I see.
And you can turn it on and out. Gush.
What were they expecting to come out? Because like a fruit machine, to me, I think of like slots.
Yeah, same. But where's the nozzle in one of them?
Well, there isn't one. But
if there were, it didn't have flies
Where
upon.
is any? What is a fruit machine? Otherwise, there's no such thing as a fucking dispenser for fruit
That has a nozzle.
What
kind of nozzle dispenses a fucking apple?
or a grape?
Mad.
Why would you use that? Like, especially staying somewhere called the Shark Hotel.
Why
would you? It definitely being the first time you ever saw such a device, because they don't exist anywhere else. Why would you think, let's have a quick go at this. Let's yank a banana from the nozzle.
So one of the things that is kind of hard to convey the comedy of, because the comedy is in the experience of scrolling through the reviews. One of the things I like is that Thorpe Park, UK official guest relations manager at Thorpe Shark Hotel, has sent basically the same reply to every negative review, kind of regardless of the criticisms that were raised. And to me,
the Shark Hotel reaches industry standards of room dryness.
I mean, luckily they don't make such a claim because it would be false. But there's just something like the whole enterprise of the hotel seems to be based on like damage mitigation and putting out fires. They have staff who are actively stealing from guests, like as multiple reviews attest, berate them not just on lines of their sexuality, but on any reason. The staff will sometimes come almost to blows, as some of the reviews will attest. It seems like they have a stack, like an almost, you know, when you win at an arcade machine and it spits out tickets, they have that, but for fast passes, because they're so used to complaints at the front desk that, like, you just come up and they're like, fucking have 20 of them. Like, the whole thing is just based around putting out consecutive fires, consecutive and unending fires.
Every day is Fire Festival at the Shark Hotel.
This person was charged £27 months after they'd checked out for no reason. It just said Shark Hotel. I contacted the Shark Hotel to complain and got an unacceptable reply. Basically, they couldn't care less. Avoid. The Shark Hotel replied, "Thank you for taking your time to review us from your recent stay. Giving our guests this is the line they use every time. Giving our guests a thrilling time is high on our agenda. It's not top.
Thrilling.
It's just,
I'll be honest.
when them fruit flies come spewing out the nozzle.
I go on the roller coasters for thrilling. I go to hotels
for the chilling.
to fall asleep.
Giving our guests a chilling time is high on our agenda, and we apologise if you feel, it's kind of gaslighting language, we have failed this time around. We advertise, and this is my next favourite thing that they always say, kind of regardless of whether or not someone's brought up the rooms, because this person said that the room size was fine, which is wrong. But clearly they have very low standards. We advertise our rooms as bite-size and quirky, and do show pictures, floor plans and videos which show our rooms in great detail. What they're saying is...
bite-size and quirky. And we've got testament from an Oxbridge professor of language that within quirky can be included the words damp,
heavy,
moist.
Heavy on the fruit. Number 1. I mean, 1 star, total waste of money, def not a hotel. How this is called a hotel is beyond words, and in my opinion, false advertising. It's the smallest metal container, and they expect 4 people to sleep inside. So upset to have wasted my money here. Rude staff, overnight bags all searched, along with hundreds of other guests just going into the park. Even though you're a hotel guest, I'm sure prison cells are nicer. No Fright Night characters as advertised. We'll come back to that. All in all, the worst night away ever. And a fire bell at 6 a.m. that caused complete panic as I was in a metal container. We'll be taking this further.
Look, I know you've said park that, but if we go to the Shark Hotel and a fucking spunky little tween in white face paint knocks on my door going, I'm gonna knock them out.
We got a great response from Thought Park there. We advertise our rooms as bite-sized and quirky, and we do show pictures, floor plans, and videos. That's just the standard.
That's interesting because there's something about the fact that they do that's already worrying, because no other hotel I've been to ever has shown you a floor plan of the room. Yeah. It's literally,
I think that's
a legal strategy that they had to do.
So that you can have some plausible deniability.
There's some kind of there's like a Roe v. Wade for like room size and what counts as a room. Yeah,
if it has a floor plan, it is a room.
Yeah,
1 star, dirty, very disappointed. First impression was that the floors were a little dirty, but acceptable. When looking under the sheets, the bedding had been unchanged. There were hairs, dirts, stains.
Dirts?
And in one case, period blood on the sheets, pillows...
What do they mean in one case?
And duvet.
Hang on. In one case, there was period blood on all 3.
I'm afraid.
What the fuck had happened to the
We
poor
complained
girl?
and changed rooms, finding yet again hair and this time lipstick stains on the sheets, but decided we'd had to stay there as it was 12 p.m. It was disgusting and clear that the sheets had not been ironed. I like that ironed is their primary concern in a room that is covered in blood.
Dirts.
One of the good things is that part of the comedy of scrolling through them is that you start to see these common threads emerge in real time. One of them is that I would say between 40 and 60% of the reviews, not even just the 1 stars, but up to the 3s I looked, even the 3-star people point this out, the fire alarm will go off maybe every other night at the Shark Hotel. And not in the daytime, of course, but between the hours of about 10 p.m. and about 5 to 6 a.m. usually. Nice. That's good. Don't waste your money, says Louisa. Also in 2019. Shark Hotel, don't waste your money, she reiterates. We stayed in the Shark Hotel, brackets, use the word hotel very lightly. It is glorified storage containers, to which I would argue, not particularly glorified. It just is storage containers, on top of one another. They are tiny, no room at all. No windows apart from little circle in the door. The bathroom, well, what a joke that is. No storage in there and nowhere to put your shampoo, toothpaste, etc. When someone has a shower, the condensation is so bad it fills the whole storage container with damp. It all steams up and leaves the walls and ceilings dripping. Dripping.
Oh.
We had to jar the main door open, like to the outside world, I think, to get air in, because the extraction fan in the bathroom is so small and covered in mould that it does nothing, but oh boy, is it noisy. Also, when the shower goes on, it all goes down the door and then leaks into the sleeping part. We needed more towels, so we could put one at the bottom of the bathroom door every time one of us had a shower. If we didn't, we would have flooded the container.
It's a damning indictment of the container itself that she can't bring herself to say bedroom. It's just the sleeping part.
The sleeping part of the container, the aforementioned container. As well, we've got when one person gets up, one of you will have to sit down due to the amount of space.
What do you mean? Like that improv game?
Yeah. There's a tiny little section with 3 drawers and a tiny little space above the bin where you can hang your clothes. That's just a troll. Like, they are just trolling at this point. Surely.
Tiny bit of space above the bin.
It didn't need to be above the bin. Just build one other bit of space.
What I like is that it's not the case that the bin happens to be in the area to hang your clothes. Yeah. It's that the bin isn't incidental. The place to hang your clothes is incidental. And incidentally, it's right above the bin.
The damp bin. So your clothes, I guess, can drip straight down into the garbage. So that's good.
That does make sense.
Here's just a pull quote from one. Small room, yes. But what made it truly awful was the fan constantly going off in the night and a light which was like a disco light all night.
Well, what's happened?
Don't know.
What's
Don't know
going
what that
on
could be.
with that person?
Warning to everyone who's staying at or going to be staying at the Shark Hotel on site. Don't leave anything of value in your room because the cleaners and other staff will take it. And when you complain, you'll be told that nothing can be done until they come in tomorrow to be questioned. Like that's happening every day. It's like, questioning's at midday
yep.
and checkout's at 11.
Oh.
You'll be followed around from when you put your complaint in to when you leave. Also,
followed around.
Also, don't bother putting
They've got heavies.
They literally do. Don't bother putting a do not disturb sign on your door, as everyone will ignore it and come in your room anyway. But they won't clean your room. They'll just move all of your belongings around and open all the pockets in your suitcase.
What? While you're just looking at them?
It's just brazen.
What?
It's just like paying to be fucked to death.
That must be a kink
Uncle
for
Thor.
someone. But like, if I were in bed and you were in the other bed, and it were 8 o'clock in the morning, and someone in a like maid's outfit opened the door, came in, and just started rummaging through your stuff, I would fucking wet myself. I
wouldn't know what to say. Like, what is the etiquette?
I would die. Like, there's no response. I wouldn't even be able to tell her to fuck off.
No.
Like, I would be wheezing.
Oh dear. This person continues, plus side, you'll be offered a free meal, but when you work it out that £330 of your money has gone, a meal won't taste right. The staff will not take it seriously. I don't know what I mean there. But there's a little clue, £330. This was one night they stayed at the Shark Hotel.
£330.
A little extra financial tip.
How can they charge that? There has to be a law.
Yes, you would hope. There isn't, unfortunately.
Oh, okay.
There simply is
foolish, naive me.
Not one of those laws. I'm trying to find the one where they talk about something that they found in the shower because it's really deeply upsetting. I can't find it, but I remember what it was, and it was that the shower was stained orange with other people's fat, was the quote. So that's good.
How could they be so sure? That's what worries me.
They've seen a bunch of fat. I felt I had to grin and bear it as my two boys were extremely upset and I didn't want to ruin their 2-night stay. We paid £750 for 2 nights. Shocking.
Sorry, that's more than the last people paid for one single night times 2.
Yes, it is.
It's supposed to be the other way around.
Our towels were dirty. So that's good as well. That's just thrown in for free.
What fucking lottery are we winning to be able to stay here?
Well, I think we go in the off season, and if we, like I said to Kangaroo, I think we should say we're there for business, and maybe we rock up in suits. We don't go to the park. We don't do any of the rides.
Right.
We're just in the hotel, spend a couple of nights there, and back home. After we've checked out this nozzle everyone's talking about, seeing if we can add a bit more orange to the fat stains, if possible.
I'll do my bit.
Small room, yes. Oh no, I've read that one already. The room is advertised online as, quote, as many hot drinks as you want. Well, with 3 paper drinking cups and 2 stirrers with no refills, it's not really much at all. So that's that bit out the window as well.
Wow, that's clever.
On the website, it states you cannot drink the water. We had alcohol to take to our rooms. This was confiscated, along with water we'd brought, as the security guards believed these contained alcohol too. So you're not allowed to drink the water that flows in the Shark Hotel. You're not allowed to bring your own water to the Shark Hotel. You must only... And they will only provide 3 cups in a room that sleeps 4.
I'm not going to the Shark Hotel if we can't take booze in.
We'll find a way. Life finds a way. I'll swallow it all down and then sick it up for you like a baby bird.
Yeah.
The breakfast is foul. Think the very worst of 70s
Fowl,
cafe.
Fowl?
Sadly not.
Oh.
Think the very worst of 70s cafe breakfast. Rubbery, slimy scrambleds, barely cooked soggy bacon, pale undercooked sausages. The only plus point I can think of, other than vomiting it back up half an hour later, was the juice dispenser. It had cranberry, which was nice.
And fruit flies.
Although wasted half an hour later, as mentioned, by the vomiting. So this person was legit sick because of the rubber breakfast.
They probably got another free meal out of that.
A muddy footprint on the lower bunk bedding, dirty floor and dried urine on the toilet seat, top and underneath.
Good to know.
This person makes the right call here and is like, Okay, well, that's a bad room. Can I have a clean one? And they're like, yeah, here's the second room. The second room we were shown to also was dirty. There was soiled toilet roll next to the bin, and the room smelled odd.
Next to the bin.
Soiled toilet roll.
Next to the bin.
Shat upon.
Well, no, I do know that.
It means
bit.
shattered in, and then just left sort of near the bin.
Yeah, close but no cigar.
We waited a short time and were allocated our third room of the stay. It was an accessible room, so larger than some of the others. It was moderately clean. We were told the stains on the floor were, quote, marks. They were not. Isn't that a lovely line?
Marks?
Oh, don't worry, no, they're just
It's not
marks.
a stain, it's a mark. Oh, silly me.
Everyone was dripping wet. We all had to sleep in jumpers. Wi-Fi does not work in the rooms. Not surprising, as they are metal containers.
Well,
so
yeah,
I think
that
they
does
act
make
as a
sense.
kind of Wi-Fi-free Faraday cage, preventing you from tweeting about how much hell you're in the wet fly haven
Marked.
that is the hotel. Now, there are many more reviews, and we'll come back to more another time, but I wanted to look at briefly into kind of the lineage of the Shark Hotel and where it came from. And I found a company called Snoozebox, which has since, and I say this with regret, gone out of business.
No.
They're a pop-up hotel company, which their entire vibe was, we'll use recycled shipping containers and just call that a hotel. Seems to be. Their job was, we'll take a container, we'll put it somewhere, now you can say it's a hotel.
Right, oh, okay. That's
It was
cool.
founded by leisure entrepreneur Robert Breer in 2011, and the hotels were found at the Fringe Festival and at Thorpe Park. It was called the Crash Pad Hotel initially, and it was initially supposed to be only a temporary thing, but they kept renewing the planning permission to just
They
keep
kept
it there
renewing the
forever.
planning permission and upping the price.
Yeah. Now, this company, it didn't last terribly long. The only information that Wikipedia has is that it reported a pre-tax loss of £2.3 million for the 6 months from January to June, I think in 2013 this was. And that was good news for the company because it was less than the £5.1 million loss it reported in the first half of 2013.
Oh.
So they were running on a kind of consistent downward curve. One thing that I also found, and this goes back to something you picked up on earlier, was that in 2014, when the Shark Hotel opened, Thorpe Park decided to do an overnight scare attraction that involved live actors coming into your room via the universal keycard and terrorising you while you are in your bed. Before the experience began, you were led to the back of the hotel where, quote, an actor would tell you some scary stories. And then you go into your room where at any point someone will unlock the door, come in, steal your stuff, piss all over the floor, fat
Mark
stain
it.
the shower,
Shuck a bit of shit-stained
steal
toilet
one of your
paper
3 paper
towards
cups,
the bin.
and then just fucking scream in your face. And if you're there, of course, finish it with a little mouth spit
Yeah.
for the good luck. Last note, right?
Okay.
One of the reviews had this, it was an otherwise kind of uninspiring review, they just hated it, but it had this amazing line which I think speaks to the kind of person they're hiring to run the hotel, which was, I know, one of your concerns as an ex-hotelier yourself.
Indeed.
It's a short quote, but it really captures a lot. After speaking to the manager, and this followed a similar kind of odyssey of moving rooms and things that were marks or stains, after speaking to the manager, he really didn't have a great deal he could say, except, quote, our hotel is a lot like Marmite. Many people love it. A lot take one look and walk away. Imagine saying that about a hotel that offers no refunds and where people are paying £600 to stay with their family. The mind truly boggles.
The pricing is the bit that affronts me the most.
It's powerful.
That they could dare.
But they're not only daring, but people are giving them 5-star reviews for it.
No, well,
We've
no one-
got to experience
no
it
one-
ourselves.
yeah, no, we do.
If you want some live video content, we'll do an expose into the Shark Hotel. We'll interview staff. We'll interview these security guard homophobes. We'll maybe catch some of the theft in action as well with a hidden camera setup. Patreon.com/ShameCity. We'll go there for business. We'll be wearing suits. We won't go and do any frivolous park activities.
No.
Of course. It'll be all business all the time.
Of course.
The way the Shark Hotel intended. Now, on a different note.
On a different note, I brought a feature based on another terrible thing that we've discussed, not really at much length on this show.
Okay.
I think because we keep meaning to do more of a thorough deep dive, and there are aspects that we need to make sure that we handle
So we
sensitively.
research. Uh-huh.
So instead, I decided to make a frivolous little feature out of it.
Good.
Because somebody that I follow on Twitter before I got booted off was mentioning this particular artist again, brought them to mind, and I thought I'd just do a fun little thing, maybe to cap off the show.
Yeah,
little
absolutely.
10 minutes content or so, and it's called Rupee or Me.
Ah, Rupee as in poet.
Rupee as in the poet Rupee Kaur.
Mm-hmm.
Now, for those who don't know,
Keep it that way.
well done.
Well done for dodging that.
She's an Instagram poet.
Yeah.
The Instagram poet.
Yeah, I don't know if she was
who then made it into books.
Uh-huh.
Is filthy rich.
Absolutely.
From what can categorically be called horse shit.
Okay. And do you say that with any authority as a poet yourself?
Yeah, I suppose so.
Okay, fair enough.
I've read a lot of poetry.
Yep. And
hers
hers is in the
isn't
top 10.
it. Right, hers is not it. It's bad. It is just platitudes with a little scribble next to them.
They're often written in interesting ways in terms of like line breaks and sort of where on the page.
When you
the
say
writing
interesting,
is.
you mean random.
Yeah, no, I meant random. Sorry, did I say something else?
Yeah, you said interesting.
Oh, sorry, no, I meant random. Yeah.
There's a lot of very good articles about how it's a style that she's stolen.
Mm-hmm, for sure.
There's a lot of good articles about how she sort of weaponizes a trauma that is not really necessarily even her own.
Okay, yeah, I've read that article as well.
So, this isn't just two white dudes.
No, this is, because this is why I think originally when I first encountered Rupee's poetry on Instagram, it would be like in someone's story. And I kind of assumed it was like a joke, like just a meme or something. And it wasn't until I looked into it properly, I was like, wow, okay, this is a real like thing and it's very popular. And at the same time as like personally finding it shit and also thinking that objectively it is bad, like there are millions of people who think it's great. And
that is a shame.
It is a shame. But I also I don't want to, as they say, like yuck any yums. And also there's like a complexity of it being, it's not for us, right? It's for like,
it's not for us.
It's written by a woman for women primarily. Although I think there's a lot of like male fan base as well for it. And so there were always like layers of commentary that we had to wade through. But then I found an article that I meant to bring up years ago. It's been on my like Google Keep. There was a woman, an American woman of color writing, "It's okay, guys. Like you can just say this is shit." And I was like, wow, I feel really like a load off my mind for that.
What I've done is I've gone through some of her recent Instagram offerings.
Yeah.
I've picked out 5.
Yep.
And I've written 5 myself. In a similar style.
Okay.
I've numbered them 1 to 10.
Yep.
You can pick a number.
Yep.
I'll read it out. And then you've got to say whether it's hers or mine.
I think rather than pick, let's just go 1 to 10.
Let's just go 1 to 10.
And then maybe there could be an element of interactivity here. Maybe we leave one of them for because people could just Google it, I guess.
Yeah, they can.
Okay, we won't be doing that. It was a nice idea, though. I'm sure you'll agree. Let's hear number 1.
Okay, number 1. Fairly middle of the road here.
Yep.
Our backs tell stories no books have the spine to carry.
If
Our backs tell stories no books have the spine to carry.
If that is not her, then you have wasted your life not making yourself rich on Instagram poetry, because that one, I mean, would be top notch.
That is Rupee.
Oh,
that is the most recent one on
Thank fuck. Because that is gold. That is clever. My back will never shut up about stories.
It won't.
Stories. Number 2.
You break women in like shoes.
That, I mean, I hate that. First of all, let me get that out up front. I think I've seen a similar sentiment from her. So it's either her or well disguised by you. I'm going her.
It is Rupee again.
Yes! I have seen that sentiment before. Okay.
Leaving her country was not easy for my mother. I still catch her searching for it in foreign films and in the international food aisle.
That has got to be you, please.
That is Rupee
No.
herself.
Wow, okay.
When I read that,
What a weird way of demonstrating that.
when I read that, I wept. That because that is stone cold something we would write.
Yeah.
Like it's got all the hallmarks of the
The first one being like quite a big, like philosophical thing, and then the second one being so incredibly like specific and milquetoast. Okay. 3 for 3 on Rupee so far.
Indeed. I was the star, and you were the star right next to me.
That, I think I've read that. I think that's Rupee.
That is me.
It's you.
That's
What
me.
have I read? Did you do a Willow poem that was like that? Possibly. I'm sure I've read something that's like exactly that.
Possibly.
I think she might have the same thing, but
Maybe.
it's just the word moon.
Probably. It felt like the kind of vibe.
No, that is good.
Let me see here. Okay, next one up. Fruit has skin and flesh just like you and me, but you never catch them feeling woe.
That's you.
That's me.
You. Fruit fiend.
I was going for that, very bad simile vibe.
Yeah.
That you then try and turn into something that's like
Bigger
really
than it is.
meaningful.
Yeah.
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 A bit like the international food aisle, you know. Look down at your body
Yep. I'm
and
doing
whisper,
it. Okay.
there's no place like you.
Oh, that's got to be you.
It's really...
No! Look down at your dick.
Look down at your body, whisper,
place like
there's
you."
no place like you. That's pathetic.
That's really bad, yeah.
That is awful.
That is very
There
bad.
is no defence for that.
It is very good on the other hand, though, if you think about it.
Just bear with me a second, because I just...
Is it from a broader piece, that one?
No, that was the whole thing.
Is that a whole poem, may I ask?
That is an entire poem.
What a way to make money.
I just want to confirm, for my own, you know how I like to make myself feel good.
Yeah.
Yeah?
You want to confirm
Okay,
what
okay,
exactly?
that's good. I just want to have a little look. 225,000 likes.
On that one.
Yeah.
Any comments saying like, oh no, I'm liking this one ironically because it was bad.
Let me just
I
have a
whispered
little
to my
look.
body and it shouted right back.
Let me just have a little look.
No?
No.
No, okay.
No,
weird.
nothing like that.
Adulation.
Someone wrote magistral.
Magistral.
Oh, hang on a minute. There's a comment from Rupee.
Yeah,
Bodies are containers for the soul.
true.
Some of us have a habit of pushing the containers we've been given to the very max
Yeah, same.
until we're exhausted and can't move.
This is about the gym.
Hands up emoji. And now as I lay in bed sick as hell, I'm like, damn, maybe I should just chill, you know? We only have one body, and it does so much more than we give it credit for.
Does it do so much more than we give it credit for? I'm like very, very aware of and grateful for mine constantly.
Are you thinking often about like what the pancreas is up to?
God, all the time. Secreting. Yes, I don't think that one is good. I would be interested to hear from someone who does like Rupee. Maybe it is.
I wouldn't.
It'd be amazing to find out that it is really good and that we're just missing
What do you
out.
mean? No, I wouldn't.
It would be really
I would
nice.
be so upset if I found out this was good.
They changed what good is.
Our feet are like the roots of trees, feeding from the soil through each and every toe.
That's got to be you. That Rupee as well.
No, that is me.
Oh, thank God.
It's sad that you could believe that, though.
They could be random words, pretty much. It could be like a Markov chain.
They took so much from my mother's people. Her land, her gloves, her name.
That's Rupee.
That's me.
That's you.
That's me.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I think what we have proven is that it is indistinguishable.
It's just.
But let me just check. These must have taken you like year. You've been working
I
on
wrote
these.
this in
2016.
10 minutes.
Wow. Okay.
Okay. 2 left.
Yeah.
1 for me.
Oh,
1 for her.
okay. Give me them both, and then I'll try and pair them off.
No, it's very obvious.
Oh, okay.
I couldn't help myself.
Fair.
They are as follows. The irony of loneliness is we feel it. The irony of loneliness is we all feel it at the same time.
That is ironic.
And the other one is a single drop of rain holds more promise than all the dirt on earth.
I mean, yes, it's you, but there's no reason like.
There's no reason it couldn't be.
Yeah,
we
word
just
choice.
happen to know that I like the word dirt.
Yeah, and dirtus.
Because no, that's you.
You like that word too.
Because it's a very funny it's a very funny word.
It is a funny word.
You got a resounding 60%.
That's not good.
that
That's
quiz.
basically random.
Yeah.
Like almost no better. If you hadn't given me the freebie with dirt, that would have been exactly random.
Yeah.
Showing that there is no craft in what she's doing.
There are two that I just want to look at, if we may, for another second, that we did talk about.
Yeah.
Look down at your body, whisper, "There's no place like
Maybe we
you."
should just take a quick moment to try it and see if it unlocks something. So wait, we'll do it together.
Oh, sorry.
And you guys at home, okay, everyone, just if you're on the bus, like ask the driver to just stop momentarily. Deep breath in. Look down at your body and whisper, "There's no place like you." No, it's shit. It's nonsense.
Drivel.
My body recognised that it was part of my body whispering it to itself, and it thought that was a kind of onanism.
Part of the tragedy of it is that her own comment on that one really kind of proved it wrong, in that, as she mentioned, all of our bodies are all doing basically all the exact same things, just in slightly different aesthetically styled containers. And so there are loads of bodies like mine. I'm just a sort of dumpy white guy.
There's no place like you, though.
There's no place like me.
There's no place like you. Imagine whispering that to someone.
I imagine whispering that to yourself, to your own abdomen.
I don't need to.
Yeah.
I just did. I whispered it right down my own crotch.
It really kind of...
It's really good.
It's the idea that sentiment,
Yeah.
and even that is doing it a favour, equals poetry.
Yes.
That there doesn't have to be any kind of craft to it. If you just say something that isn't quite long enough to be prose, it's a poem.
It's like the same thing as I think it's a Brandy Jensen tweet originally, the one that liberals are like dogs, in that they don't read the content, they only understand the tone. So you can talk to your dog and be like, "Who's a fucking little dickhead? Who's a little dickhead? I'm going to kill you." I don't recommend doing that to your dog. But it's the same thing. Like, it has all of the hallmarks. Well, it doesn't actually. It has the hallmarks of like something poetic adjacent. Not really of poetry, but it uses slightly unusual words, and it is very clearly about specific images, often like bodily ones or like imaginary ones, or sort of pseudo-political statements, and that kind of does the work of it being good. It is like the sort of hollow vase thing from Friends, the empty vase, as it is, in fact, where it's just like, if it looks enough like a poem, people will just be like, "It probably is."
If it looks enough like a poem and like makes any kind of vague allusion to a theme that is moderately poetic, or to a theme that you can put yourself into, then it counts as poetry. And it's just not the case.
It is a shame.
It's like, to me, it's like giving someone a colouring in book and saying, "This is a bit of art that I've given you." Like, it's not. You've just given
them the mould in which to just
in which
project
they're just going to
else.
put whatever they want.
It's like that action movie thesis thing that is like, that I talk about all the time, where
But,
like the blankness
hero,
of the character is the point.
Because
like
you project
Neo.
yourself onto it. Yeah, it is just that. But it's
not a power fantasy though. It's kind of a sometimes it's power fantasy. Sometimes it's kind of like a
I find it more. It is way more exploitative than that, because it's about people's suffering.
Yeah, so sometimes it's like a sort of exploitation fantasy.
And it, again, the article that we've both read about the idea of like, well, this isn't like this isn't like a mold that she's giving necessarily from any kind of experience. This is a mold that she's giving from platitude, like learned platitudes. And don't get me wrong, she's very good. She
is very good. I would love to know what she's like in person. Like, do you think she...
Well, we've seen that TED Talk.
I have seen the TED Talk, and it's very annoying.
infuriating.
It's very annoying. But she's still performing at that point.
Yeah.
She's doing all the like slam poetry hand motions and like labouring over every syllable.
Every single moment.
In the text. But in real life, like, my deep, deep desire for the sanctity of like the forward motion of art And especially in terms of education, like the fact that people are growing up thinking this counts, whereas like there is so much good stuff, so much of it by women, so much of it by Americans, so much of it by American women, so much of it by American women of colour that you could be reading instead of this. Like, it's such a massive failure of the whole process of like learning to interact with art. But the only way I can kind of sleep on this idea is that she fucking knows, and she is just rinsing everyone
I think
for all
that she
their
does.
worth. If that's the case, like, it's cynical as fuck, but she's made it work. It's better that than going around being like, I am art, like I am poetry.
I think that it's proof of what I have said for ages about the teaching of literature, and even more specifically the teaching of poetry, which is that the reason this appeals is because poetry is taught all wrong, in that it is taught, as all literature ends up being taught, as something you have to learn to understand the meaning of. That
like there's a code to be cracked.
There is a meaning here, and you have to find out what it is.
And if you can't, it's because you're not working hard.
You're not working hard
You're not
enough.
spotting
You
all the
can't read it
metaphors.
right. You aren't clever enough to get it.
Yeah.
Rather than, here is something, tell me how it makes you feel. Tell me how you feel about it. So what people want is for a piece of art that straight up just tells them what the meaning.
like-
There's no like artifice here.
It's like it's like all of her poetry is just the title of a poem.
Yeah.
It's like, well, I don't need to read anymore because the sentiment has started, continued, and finished within a single breath.
Yeah, and if you teach people that to read poetry or to enjoy poetry or to understand poetry, whatever that as a phrase itself can mean, is to find the meaning in it, then this is the perfect like marketing of that, because the poem is the meaning. Like the meaning is the poem. It is just one fucking Ouroboros of live, love, laugh. Yeah. Like just
Live,
on
love,
and
laugh,
on
love, live,
forever.
love, laugh, love,
Yeah.
live, love, laugh.
Just going on forever. And if you instead teach people that, well, here's a poem, what do you think? If you teach people in an environment where they can say themselves either like, I don't think I get this, or even more importantly, I don't think I like this, that you don't have to accept the text that you're given as good, because they're not always. I taught
Plenty of them
loads
are,
of shit that I thought was just nonsense.
Especially in the poetry section. You get some
Jesus
fucking awful
Christ.
poems.
Yeah, when you have to teach war poetry, like, you have to pretend so much of it's good. Just because they
it's sad and
died.
they're dead.
The other one that I wanted to talk about,
Oh, yeah.
for slightly different reasons, which I think is an example of the mask, like, slipping from her, is this one of, leaving her country was not easy for my mother. I still catch her searching for it in foreign films and the international food aisle. Now,
There's something like, I don't hate that one. I think it has more to offer than the other.
Does.
Like the idea of trying to like relocate yourself via the medium of something sensory like food. Like, yes, I don't think it's totally inelegantly expressed as an idea. Like she has not really done it. She's just said it. Like, it's just stated. It's just like sometimes, well, it literally says, I sometimes see my mum in the foreign food aisle.
Yeah.
Which, first of all, like the international food aisle is a slightly odd concept anyway, because I don't know, it's spread about in most supermarkets. No, maybe that's a UK thing, but it's just a kind of clumsy, obvious. It's like if there were rhymezone.com that rappers always get called out for using. It'd be like if there was that linked like the idea of otherness to the simplest possible image. It would be top of there.
yeah, and I think that that's the issue, is that there is something to be said for this, the like bathos of linking something as grand as identity, like national identity, with the search for it in the most quotidian like aspect of life, which is just going to shop for groceries.
Yeah.
But there isn't that here, because you don't see bathos anywhere else in what she does. Like, everything else is inherently expressed as being like grand, as like principle, as idea, as almost metaphysical, and then like, also at Tesco
at the shop
when she's
also
buying,
she won't
like,
stop gnawing on this flag.
yeah, like it's like the tone of it is so different from everything else that she's done that it does just feel very much like an accident, which is why I found it so hilarious, because in foreign films doesn't have the same idea, because there is something like kind of
there's
almost,
more of a romantic quality
it's
to
also kind of meta like writing in that way of like art about finding yourself in art.
Yeah.
But then like also and in the
she was just sat there like,
Yeah.
fuck, where else is my mum? What does she do? She goes cinema, she goes Tesco.
Yeah, when
That's
she
it.
buys own brand whatever. Like
Yeah.
it's tragic, and I think it's bad because it covers up what is one of my favourite poetic techniques. Love me a bit of bathos.
Yes,
I
good, isn't
can't
it?
get enough of it. And it's like,
Can be
here
very
it is
crushing.
being kind of like clumsily lumped in
Yeah.
to, again, like to accompany and I think even like cheapen a message that could have been, even, you know, if we're going by her standards,
Yeah.
could have been nicely expressed.
Could have been.
So it's a shame. But, you know, like they say,
What's going on with everyone liking it though, hey?
yeah, well, what is that?
don't
Well,
know,
like,
it
well, I mean,
caught-
we did go through that.
But it
I
comes
suppose, a
back
minute
to,
ago.
it's like that central it's like a grappled with issue at the core of our show. Kind of less lately, but certainly when we started, the idea was just talk about stuff that we think is bad, like stuff that is a shame, hence the name, quite a literal approach. And there's always like the tension of just, well, it's not that interesting to just say that's bad. Like, what is it that people like? And also, are we adding anything of value by saying it is bad? Is there an argument? And it's one that a lot of people in our lives make often, where it's just like, oh, let them have it. Like, it's fine. Because kind of I do think that. Like, I'm not going out there commenting on every Rupee poem like, this is shit.
Read another book,
Read some Rossetti or something. Like, I don't know. But at the same time, it doesn't feel like it sort of depresses me in the implied lack of scope and imagination. I think it's cynical in that we only have a finite amount of time in life and a finite amount of things you can read. And it seems that if you're out there in the marketplace of ideas chucking out bullshit and getting paid millions for it, that's not just an isolated incident. It's necessarily at the detriment of like someone actually being awakened to like, fuck, this is something that really speaks to me specifically.
Yeah, and I think that part of it is like, because I had to scroll through the feed for a while,
God,
and I
keep
went
you.
back to maybe like August last year. It's not a massive amount of time. It's about 6 months, 8 to 8 months, something like that. I didn't see any posts like pushing anyone else's work, which, you know, you
From
can
that position,
say,
you might-
yeah, one of the defenses of like art and artists that kind of corner a market is,
Yeah.
oh, well, they open you up to like
Harry
fur-
Potter.
Yeah, like they open you up to further ideas
it's a
or
gateway.
art. But it like there were a couple of selfies, there were a couple of things about tour dates, a video or
What
two.
in God's name is the tour?
Well,
Does she
she
just
reads
sit
it.
and read?
Yeah,
them?
I think she
It
reads
must be like
them.
a 20-second show. You could read her
No,
entire
remember,
fucking
she's got fucking
volume.
thousands of these.
I know, but even so,
and
it'd be
it's
like
well,
reading a fucking
it's
fortune
like-
cookie.
and it is, I think you're right, that idea of it acts as like a blockade rather
Yeah.
than like an open gate. It,
Deliberately and
yeah, it says like, hey, here's what you
capitalistically
need.
intended.
Buy, like, follow my feed, buy my book.
Yeah.
Then that's it. There's very little like sharing. There's very little pushing of like other art. And I mean, you don't have to.
Yeah, she doesn't have to.
I'm not saying that
But it
you
would
own-
certainly
quell some of this.
it would lessen my moral load, I think, if I were in that position.
Yeah, and as given that people have pointed out about there is an appropriation or a co-opting of a style that's not hers in that writing, it might do some good to say, well, here are some other people
influences,
doing it.
for example.
But I suppose if you do that, you have to kind of concede where you got it.
Yeah, and where she got it is the Instagram of one Willow M Hope.
go.
Which I think we've not revealed on the show.
We've not really, no.
So we made as a kind of experiment just for our own enjoyment. I guess we were eventually going to mention it, but I forgot about it until just now.
Yeah.
An Instagram poet. So go and check her out. Willow. Is it Willow M?
Yeah,
Hope?
Willow M. Hope.
We did sort of seasons of writing. We basically just wanted to see how much effort you have to put in to get a lot of likes. And I mean, we haven't got loads of likes, but we also didn't put in any effort.
There was no effort.
For the amount of effort we put in, we got an incredible response. We got hundreds of followers. It all have died down now because it's been years since we posted, probably. But like comments, we got tagged in, like, get people messaging us to join competitions and things.
Yeah.
Like,
we had,
it is just very
and
easy.
within, 2 weeks, you're getting poems with like 40, 50 likes on.
Yeah.
And we were like challenging each other. It was like, we're in the autumn theme. It's like, hey, write a poem about like
falling
pumpkins,
leaves,
but actually it's
really about Jack the Ripper or something. So you'll look out for those. There's some content you'd enjoy, I think. And also one little Easter egg, which was an Easter egg even upon those who created it, is that about 30% of the poems have a very faint but very large ghost over the entire image.
Because Isaac used it on
it for one
and then just forgot.
Kept it as the template.
Left it in there for
So
all of them.
we'd moved on from the Halloween theme, which I don't even know if it was a Halloween theme. That we
No,
did.
it was just autumn, I think.
Right, that's
or
spooky.
it wasn't even
yeah,
autumn.
yeah.
It was just like that autumnal brown colour.
There we go. That's a show, isn't it? We've talked about some disparate things. Were there anything that united them thematically? I'm sure I'd have thought of it. Shame. That's the one. It's shame.
Shame's the name.
And it's both, they're both like shames that arise uniquely in this hyper-capitalist environment that we live in, whether it's the kind of pseudo-meritocracy of examination, which leads to this poor education style that you alluded to earlier, whether it's the Shark Hotel daring to charge more than 10p for a night in a shipping container where you'll be robbed, flies will attack you, and you may indeed be terrorised middle of the night by either a fire alarm or a man, or whether it's Rupee out there just chucking out drivel for millions of dollars.
And are you bringing up our hyper-capitalistic, late-stage capitalism world as a kind of scapegoat just out of nowhere? Are you doing it because of research? Are you doing it because we're kind of currently going through what looks like a further collapse of the stock market brought on by capitalism's inability to deal with something as simple as the outbreak of a flu-like virus?
No, I wouldn't do anything so cynical in this time.
What about people stockpiling on the bog roll?
Even in our local Sainsbury's, it's all fucked
They
off.
can't, like,
People
there's
are
not a single shred, not a sheet to be found.
What are we going to do? Shit on the leaves? It's not right, is it? Until the next one, I've been Isaac, you've been.
I've been Declan.
See you at the Shark Hotel.
Bye, guys.
Look for the bare necessities, the simple bare necessities. Forget about your worries and your strife. I mean the bare necessities, oh Mother Nature's recipes that bring the bare necessities of life. Wherever I wander, wherever I roam, I couldn't be fonder of my big home. The bees are buzzing in the tree to make some honey just for me. The bare necessities of life will come to you. For the bare necessities, the simple bare necessities. Forget about your worries and your strife. I mean the bare necessities, oh Mother Nature's recipes that bring the bare necessities of life. Wherever I wander, wherever I roam, I couldn't be fonder. My new home. The bees are buzzing in the tree to make some honey just for me. The bare necessities of life will come to you.